Ladies and gentlemen, you will never build the life you deserve if every decision you make is driven by emotion. Reaction is easy, but strategy is power. Every time you let anger speak for you or fear decide for you, you're handing your future to chaos. This isn't about being cold. It's about being in control, because the strongest person in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one who can pause, think, and still choose power over impulse. So ask yourself, are you moving with strategy or emotion? Emotion is one of the most powerful forces a human being can possess. It drives us, ignites our passions, and pushes us to chase after what we believe in. But when emotion becomes the sole compass, we risk getting lost in the noise of our own reactions. Passion without direction becomes a wildfire, beautiful, powerful, but uncontrollable and destructive. It can lead to impulsive decisions, unnecessary conflicts, and regretful outcomes. That's why emotion must be respected, but not worshipped. It must be understood, but not blindly obeyed. Every successful endeavor starts with emotion, yes, but it is sustained by discipline and clarity. The ones who rise aren't the most emotional. They are the most intentional. Their moves aren't random bursts of inspiration. They are deliberate steps on a chosen path. There's a difference between movement and progress. Emotion might get you moving, but only strategy will get you somewhere meaningful. Think about the energy it takes to sprint in circles. It's exhausting, but you're not going anywhere. Strategy is what transforms that same energy into a straight line towards something bigger. It gives your passion purpose. Without a plan, even the strongest drive can become self-sabotaging. So often we believe being emotional means we care more, but true care means being smart with your energy. It's choosing your battles. It's thinking long-term, even when your heart screams for immediate gratification. Strategy doesn't mute your feelings. It organizes them into a powerful system of action. That's where real strength lies. People often mistake being strategic for being cold or unfeeling, but there's deep emotion in choosing to pause before reacting, in choosing peace over proving a point. Emotions are real, but they're also temporary. Strategy honors the emotion, but still keeps the bigger picture in view. It's like driving a car with a GPS. Your emotions may tell you to take a sudden turn, but strategy checks the route. It makes sure you're not just reacting to a detour, but still heading in the right direction. It's about having self-awareness, understanding your triggers, recognizing your habits, and knowing when to hold back or when to move. That kind of self-mastery doesn't come from raw emotion. It comes from training your mind to work with your heart, not against it. That's when you stop surviving and start thriving. When you learn to move with strategy, you become unshakable. You stop being tossed around by every high and low. You stop letting temporary people or temporary pain dictate permanent decisions. Life will test you. It will provoke you. It will give you every reason to act out of frustration, insecurity, or anger. But power is in restraint. It's in the ability to think clearly in chaos. Strategy allows you to anticipate, to prepare, to move with purpose rather than panic. And the world respects people who don't just react, but who respond with thought and confidence. You don't have to be the loudest to be the strongest. Silence with a plan is far more powerful than noise with no direction. Many people fail not because they lack the emotion, but because they lack the plan. They had the will, but not the way. Talent is common. Discipline is rare. Motivation is fleeting. Consistency is king. Strategy is what keeps you moving when motivation fades. It's your blueprint when things fall apart. It's the voice in your head reminding you of your goals when your emotions beg you to quit. Building a life, a career, a legacy, it doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design. It's not about being perfect. It's about being prepared. That preparation allows you to move smarter, not just harder. Emotion might open the door, but strategy walks you through it with confidence. This doesn't mean ignoring your emotions. It means leading them instead of being led by them. Feel them. Honor them, but don't act on them without thought. Let your emotions signal where your passion lies, and then let your mind create the map. The heart wants what it wants, but the mind knows how to get it, and that combination is unstoppable. People who only move with emotion often burn out or break down, but those who move with strategy build resilience. They bounce back faster. They don't let every setback become a breakdown. They turn it into a breakthrough because their moves are calculated, not chaotic. They're climbing, not just running. Being strategic isn't about overthinking. It's about being intentional. Every decision is a seed planted for your future. And you don't plant without knowing what you want to grow. When your moves are guided by a bigger vision, you're less likely to waste time on distractions. You are less likely to give your energy to things that don't align with your purpose. That's what strategy does. It filters your actions through the lens of your goals. And when you start doing that, life feels less overwhelming. You stop chasing everything and you start building something. That's where confidence is born, not from emotion, but from clarity. The world will tell you to follow your heart. That's good advice, but follow it with a map. Know where your heart is taking you and know how to get there without losing yourself. Strategy gives you that structure. It keeps you focused. It allows you to move with grace even under pressure. It helps you make decisions that your future self will thank you for, because emotion focuses on now, but strategy sees tomorrow. Emotion might push you to react, but strategy teaches you to respond. And in that space between reaction and response, you find power. Every great success story is built on strategy. Behind every shining moment, there's hours of planning, preparation, and disciplined execution. Emotion got them started, but strategy brought them to the finish line. That's the truth most people miss. They see the passion on the stage, but not the precision behind the scenes. They see the inspiration, but not the intention. It's not about being robotic. It's about being wise. It's about being strong enough to feel everything, but not let everything control you. That's real power. That's what it means to move with strategy, not just emotion. And in the end, strategy doesn't kill your emotion. It gives it direction. It turns your passion into a purpose. It takes your raw energy and channels it into real momentum. Emotion gives you the why, but strategy gives you the how. And when you combine the two, you don't just make noise, you make history. You don't just hustle, you build. So move with emotion, yes, but lead with strategy. That's how you rise, stay grounded, and create something that lasts. Because anyone can burn bright, but only the strategic burn long. Success doesn't happen by accident, and it definitely doesn't happen by just showing up. Too many people believe that being present is enough, that their passion or talent will carry them through. But presence without purpose is just a shadow. To rise above, you have to play to win. You have to walk into every room with a reason, every opportunity with a strategy, and every challenge with a mindset built to conquer. Being busy isn't the same as being effective. An effort without aim is just noise. The ones who make impact aren't the loudest or the flashiest. They're the most intentional. They study the game, they understand the players, and they don't waste moves. No actions are random. Their energy is guarded, and their eyes never leave the goal. It's not about proving yourself to anyone else. It's about proving your own potential to yourself. There's a difference between working hard and working smart. Showing up with no game plan means you're hoping for luck. Showing up with a strategy means you're creating results. You don't need to chase attention. You need to command respect through results. That only comes when you stop playing emotional games and start playing the long game. You're not here to entertain people. You're here to evolve. You don't need applause to be powerful. You need alignment with your purpose. Power isn't in being seen. It's in being undeniable. And that requires a mindset that's not just reactive, but calculated. Every move you make should serve a bigger picture, a higher version of yourself. When you walk into a room, people should feel the presence of someone who is clear, focused, and ready. That kind of presence doesn't come from being loud. It comes from knowing your value and knowing your mission. It comes from preparing so deeply that confidence becomes your natural state. Winning is not about ego. It's about clarity. It's about having the courage to stick to your plan even when emotions want to take over. Everyone has moments of doubt, fear, and frustration, but the difference lies in how you respond to them. Winners don't let emotions run their day. They let vision lead the way. They understand that distractions are everywhere, but discipline builds empires. And that discipline starts with how you show up, not just for others, but for yourself. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be prepared. Success favors the ones who practice when no one is watching, who plan when others are sleeping, and who think 5 steps ahead. If you want to be taken seriously, take your path seriously. Know what you want, and don't just chase everything that looks good. The best players in the game aren't the ones who react to every move. They're the ones who dictate the flow. That's what it means to play to win. It's not about being aggressive. It's about being precise. It's knowing when to speak and when to listen, when to wait and when to strike. That sharpness doesn't come from emotion. It comes from awareness. The more you prepare, the more powerful your presence becomes. People often underestimate the power of quiet confidence. They think being strategic means being manipulative or distant, but it's really about being in control of your power. There's strength in restraint. There's dignity in not engaging with every distraction or every provocation. When you play to win, not every battle is worth fighting. Some things aren't setbacks, they're just noise. And when you can separate the noise from the mission, you become unstoppable. Emotion may push you to respond, but strategy reminds you that not everything requires your energy. Reserve your power. Direct it where it matters. Let your actions speak louder than your reactions ever could. Every situation, every interaction is an opportunity to move closer to your goals or further away. People who play to win don't waste time proving themselves in places that don't align with their vision. They don't settle for being liked. They aim to be respected. Respect comes when you show consistency, when your work speaks for itself, and when your decisions reflect clarity. You can be kind and still be firm. You can be humble and still be fierce. Playing to win doesn't mean stepping on others. It means refusing to step back from your purpose. It's choosing growth over comfort, discipline over drama, and results over reactions. That's how champions are made, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows where preparation happens. You have to remember that energy is currency. Where you place it determines your return. Pouring your emotions into things that don't build you up will drain you. But investing your time, your mindset, and your energy into strategy will empower you. The world may praise talent, but it rewards discipline. You might not always feel motivated, but when you move with strategy, you don't need to. Your actions are tied to your goals, not your moods. That's what sets the winners apart from the rest. They don't need perfect conditions to act. They create momentum by staying consistent. They show up not just to be seen, but to execute with purpose. Every step they take is one step closer to the vision. Sometimes people mistake patience for passivity, but true winners know how to wait with purpose. They know timing matters. They don't rush just to feel productive. They move when it's right, when it's smart, when it's aligned. That's what playing to win looks like. It's not desperation, it's direction. It's refusing to move just for the sake of movement. It's knowing that progress isn't always loud. It's often internal, quiet, strategic. When you make decisions from a place of clarity, your energy becomes focused. You stop second guessing, you stop over-explaining. You simply do what's required again and again until the results become undeniable. That's the mindset that wins in life, in business, in everything. Winning isn't about always being right. It's about always being ready to learn, adjust, and rise. Strategic minds are flexible, not rigid. They aren't attached to ego. They're attached to growth. They don't crumble under pressure. They adapt. And when you play to win, you're not obsessed with perfection. You're obsessed with progress. You know that failure isn't a threat. It's a lesson. Every loss contains a seed of wisdom, and strategic thinkers know how to plant it for future success. That resilience doesn't come from emotion alone. It comes from intention. You fall, yes, but you rise better, smarter, and stronger every time. That's how you outlast the noise and outgrow the limits. In the end, it's not about how emotional you are. It's about how effective you are. You can feel deeply and still move wisely. You can be passionate and still be calculated. Playing to win means aligning your emotion with your execution. It means having the courage to think before you leap, to plan before you speak, and to act with clarity even in chaos. The most powerful moves you'll ever make will be the ones you made when you refused to be shaken, when you chose strategy over drama, focus over frenzy. That's how you win, not by chance, not by noise, but by precision, discipline, and vision. That's how you stop performing for the world and start building something that can't be ignored. In moments of emotional intensity, it's easy to forget that not every feeling requires an immediate reaction. Life will test your patience, your pride, and your peace, but how you respond defines your direction. Emotional reactions might feel powerful in the moment, but they rarely lead to thoughtful outcomes. When you detach, even briefly, you create space between what happened and what you choose to do about it. That space is where maturity lives. It's where clarity forms. It's not about being cold. It's about being conscious. Anyone can react, but it takes strength to pause. Pausing doesn't mean weakness. It means control. It's the difference between chaos and clarity. The truth is, opportunities don't always knock twice. Sometimes they don't knock at all. You have to go out there, hunt them down, and drag them into your life. This is where belief becomes a weapon. When you believe in yourself, you start to see possibilities where others see dead ends. You see pathways where others see walls. You stop waiting for the perfect moment because you understand that the perfect moment is nothing but a myth. It's built by your actions, not by the calendar. Every moment you choose to move forward, every time you take a step when fear is holding you back, you're creating your own perfect moment. This belief transforms you. It changes your language, your energy, your presence. People start noticing something different about you because belief radiates. It's visible in the way you talk, in the way you walk, in the way you show up even when life throws storms in your path. And when you carry that belief long enough, something incredible happens. The world begins to believe in you too. Not because they suddenly woke up and decided to support you, but because you've given them proof through your consistency, your discipline, and your results. But here's the reality. Belief without work is nothing but daydreaming. You can believe you're meant for greatness all you want, but if you're not putting in the hours, if you're not pushing past your comfort zone, if you're not sacrificing for the future you claim to want, then you're just telling yourself a nice bedtime story. Belief is the fuel, but action is the engine. One without the other gets you nowhere. And yes, there will be days when belief feels like a distant echo. Days when your mind plays tricks on you, when doubt creeps in like a shadow at dusk. That's when you must remind yourself why you started. That's when you have to talk to yourself louder than your fears. Repeat the truths you've chosen to live by and refuse to let temporary emotions decide your permanent destiny. Because the greatest tragedy isn't failing, it's living your entire life never knowing what you could have achieved if you had just believed in yourself enough to try.